What did our parents think about us getting married? Your family did try to keep you from telling your father.
My mom is very, very heavy into her church life. When I called her and let her know that we had just gotten married, she says, well, you know what? I told you about that. So,
Howdy. Well, Russ here.
And Chris. In just 2 days, it is our 5th wedding anniversary. So the 20th of March. And we got married in 2020 on the first full day of spring. So you could go back and look at the video of our wedding if you've never seen it. 5 years now, 5 years that we've been together, but we've really been together 15 years.
Why did we get married?
Why did we get married? Because we had to. I was pregnant. Men can get pregnant. That's what we hear.
No, we don't deny freaking science. Why did we get married? I want you tell your point of view and I'll tell mine.
We had planned on getting married and knew that we would eventually get married once it was legal. Once it was legal, we had discussed we would get married. But I had always thought in my mind that I wanted to get married on the beach, barefoot in the sand, really small wedding, that sort of thing. But we got married when we did because of COVID-19. We realized like, oh, when it first came out, no one knew anything about it. It's like, well, if one of us were to get sick, we got all the noise going on.
I think we're just going to go with it and hope that these cancel out noise. We live in a city.
Yeah.
And this is a quiet neighborhood in St. Pete, but still, whatever.
Yeah. It's not near as loud as it was in Bozeman. Not as
by the train.
The train and the airplanes and all of that.
So you were saying COVID-19.
So COVID-19, we didn't realize this. If one of us were to get sick and we are not married, we may not be able to go into the hospital to be with each other. So we thought, this may be the time, just like it's not the beach, but let's do it so that we can go into the hospital with each other if need be. Which of course that ended up being nullified anyway because they weren't even letting people go into the hospital to see people when they were sick, So that was really what stepped it up to that immediate time. That's
okay.
In my way of thinking. Yeah. That's it. Otherwise, we may have very well waited and been barefoot on the beach sometime in the future.
So you did have a romantic side too. The barefoot on the beach is the romantic side because there's the whole ceremony and a commitment to each other for marriage too.
Yeah.
And it's a personal thing. I mean, you can bring in the Bible or whatnot, but it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter necessarily with the love side and the romance side. It's like, no, it was between us. It was us making a commitment.
Yeah, and I didn't necessarily need a wedding sort of thing. And I guess when I was a kid, I always thought about having a wedding. It was always with another guy. Not you. I didn't know your face yet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I sure didn't know you were going to be so young.
Mm-hmm. The 27-year age gap.
Didn't know I was going to be robbing the cradle. Never planned on that one. I'd had those romanticized kind of thoughts about marriage as a kid, really, back, when I was 7, 8, 9. And I kind of on and off thought about that kind of thing. But having the wedding license or whatever was and wasn't important, so to speak. I don't know. I thought it was important that it was legal for us because we were being prevented from something that other people have the right to.
Like what?
Well, just to be legally married. Validate your relationship, inside of the law. And there's different things that ends up being important for. We haven't necessarily so much gone down those roads yet.
Like tax reasons or...
Yeah, I mean, we don't make enough money to have to worry about which way to file is better, and but there are legalities for finances that we really haven't even taken the time to look into yet. But I know they're there, and we need to, but we put them off.
I know one of the things we're working on is trying to let each other talk a little bit more because it's easy to interject in a relationship.
That's one of the things we've had more difficulty with lately, I guess you would say, is realizing that we talk over each other.
And sometimes it's kind of cool because we're a team. There's a point where we help each other out. It's both. But there's other times where I'm like, dang, he's speaking for me, and that I've done it to you. It works both ways. But the COVID-19, I think that was a less of a reason I married you. But I'm not saying it didn't play into it. I think it was, for me, it was relating to health. It's because you had some heart stuff, and I just wanted to be legally protected and be able to go into the hospital if you had another medical issue.
Okay.
And vice versa. Mm-hmm. And there were some technicalities to, like, there was I'm gonna get into the romance after a second, but it was also like
Romance, that's
the,
down
there
the
was
road.
there was the living situation that we were in, and I didn't want to like get kicked out. It was a really weird situation. I was like, hey, maybe we should like have some legal protections if something happened. Like I might not have a place to live because your business relationship, it's a little weird. So there were some protections legally for us. Then there's the romance side. It was like, hey, we had already made a bond. We had already had ups and downs. We had talked about getting married. It just was like, well, let's just go do it. And we both wanted something more simple. And I didn't want to like build it up and have like this crazy expensive wedding somewhere.
Who's going to pay for it?
So it's like, well, yeah.
There is no bride for there to be the father of the bride or the family of the bride to pay for the wedding.
Yeah, it wasn't what I wanted. I didn't want like an expensive wedding. So we decided to go and do it at a wetland, do it really chill. And we had the goal to maybe celebrate it later on. I know there's people who sometimes reference the Bible and they believe in like one man, one woman being married. And we're two guys. But
Can't do nothing about that.
But it's like at the same time, it's also like it's between us, and we would never go to like some church and be like, you have to marry us or you have to make a cake. It's like I don't care about that. I have the mindset that's like, you guys live your own life and do what you want to do, marry who you want. But this is our life, and we're consensual adults. We love each other. We're here for each other. We're the ones who have to figure out a way to pay our bills. We're the ones who have to figure out a way to get along and be roommates and try to respect each other and listen to each other and take accountability when we're both assholes, because we both are. I honestly consider the whole relationship more important than the marriage. The marriage is just like a luxury that we got to have, and I'm so glad that we had that luxury. But regardless of the marriage or not, I'd still be with you. And that's why we got married. I didn't get married to you ultimately because I thought, oh, it's going to fix our relationship.
Right.
It's like, no, I already love you and I'm already committed to you and I love you very much and I want to try to stay with you. That's why I want to marry you. Because then maybe if something happens, or we did it for some legal reasons, for protections from the, to let us be in the hospital if something happens or make hospital decisions, which there's other ways you can go about like protecting yourself legally, which we just did the marriage thing. Like if I was in the hospital and there was a decision that I couldn't even make because I was in a coma, you could make that decision.
Right. This gives us, it's easier to make those things happen with a marriage license than it is to have to go and have all these different other kind of documents drawn up. At least that's my understanding.
And bottom line, we're adults and we can do what we want, utilizing the legal system that we had access to.
So I think you misunderstood me before. I didn't marry you because of COVID.
You married me because of COVID. No, I'm just kidding.
Married you at that precise date, a little bit pushed up, I guess you would say, because of COVID. But I was going to marry you, ultimately.
Yeah, we talked about the beach wedding. And that's the thing is like, I'm a cake guy. You know I like cake. It's like one of my favorite desserts. I'm talking moist cake, by the way. It's got to be moist. Well, we have not had a wedding cake yet. Crazy, huh?
Yeah. So we should save that for our, what, our 50th anniversary?
No. Every anniversary. And so since there was COVID about to happen, we had a small wedding. There's a film of it. You can actually watch the video.
There were us
We filmed
and three
it.
more people.
There's actually, did you know that there's like 400,000 or 500,000 people who have seen us get married?
No, I hadn't gone back and watched it and to see how many people have watched
That's
it.
kind of crazy. Almost 500,000 people watched us get married.
That's pretty
And my
wild.
mom was not too happy about that part, not being able to be there. Because it was small. We only had, 3 people?
She was
other than us?
slighted. She was slighted.
Oh,
What?
I have to show this.
What do you have to show?
These kind of are our wedding rings, kind of. Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah, they're our crystals. And these are Arlite 23?
Yeah.
Arlite 23. One place in Canada that they come from. And Bonnie gave us both one of these.
I think we should do a segue to our parents.
A segue
What
to
did
the
our
parent.
parents think about us getting married? Can I talk about mine first?
You talk about yours first. It's more pleasant.
My whole family, they're from Wyoming for the most part, like my immediate family. They all have been very supportive. And what's weird is like, you have all these stereotypes of what Wyoming people would be like. And I would imagine that my family, they're independent, but they probably lean conservative. And they have been nothing but supportive of us. When we are around my family, the gay thing, that's old freaking news. I'm sure it was weird at first. Let's be real. It's like, Mom, here's the person that I love, and he's older than you. You know, I didn't say it like that. I was like, this is the person I love, but she had to figure that all out. I'm sure she had like a process to deal with it all. Like I had a process, like you have a process just to deal with anything, right? Mm-hmm. But now when we're sitting down on the couch with my family, it's just normal. Be honest. It's normal.
Just like anybody else been on the couch.
And they come
We
over.
lay there hugged up. Yeah.
Like my mom and my stepdad, it's like we're actually kind of friends. We'll go and travel like friends.
Yeah, we travel well together.
And we have conversations that are just really good. The relationship thing, the age gap, the gay thing, not an issue.
Yeah. So yeah, his mom was slighted because she didn't get to come to the wedding.
Yeah,
we had the wedding and she didn't get to come. So she was upset about that.
She got us bracelets.
Yeah.
I don't have the bracelet right now, but...
Well, they're in another room. But
yeah, she said, how does she say it? She's like, well, congratulations, but... Then she said like something about
I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed I didn't get to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my family. My family was very supportive, including my brother and my sister, everybody else. I don't know if my real dad even knows. He knows I'm gay.
I think
or bi.
surely he knows.
Probably.
I'm assuming one of your brothers and sisters.
I'm close to my
told
stepdad.
him.
He's been there since I was 5 years old. There was a whole process, and it's part of my story. But talk about your family. What you're comfortable at. I'll let you speak.
Well, it was a wee bit different with my family when I called my mom. And my mom is very, very heavy into her church life and her beliefs in the Bible and what have you, even though she loves Dylan. And even said at one point, she said, well, it's easy to see. He's not hard on the eyes. And that was way before we got married. But being so tied in her connection with the Bible, one man, one woman. She had told me before that she just didn't understand the whole, needing to get married, since, two guys, two women or what have you. She didn't necessarily agree with that. So when I called her and let her know that we had just gotten married, she says, well, you know what, I told you about that. So that's it. And I just, okay, it's my mom. I have to accept it. It hurts a little bit disappointing, but I still love my mom. And she loves us. We stay at their place all the time.
She bakes me birthday cakes all the time.
You're gonna come
like
visit
whatever
us.
birthday cake I want. There's no like tough energy with it. It's just a slight difference of opinion. It's a generational thing too.
Yeah, she's a good bit older than Dylan's mom.
And there's a biblical part of it as well. Mm-hmm. People do the best they can, and they cherry pick what's important in the Bible.
Yeah, and I grew up in the same, church environment as my mom, just a generation later, being her kid. And I grew up with all of that, so I understand where she's coming from. I'm the grandson of a preacher. Her dad was a minister.
Yeah.
So, from early on, everything was about church and the very traditional type of church. So I get it and I accept it. And it is just what it is, and I love my mom.
And when I go there, we sleep in the same bed. His mom makes the bed for us. So it's just important to know that it's good. And then
it's just more the marriage thing, little thing, because weddings had always been
a man and a woman.
And in a church usually.
Yeah.
Although, even my mom's second marriage was not in a church, second and third.
Yeah. That's the thing. Everyone's not perfect, right?
No, things change in life. I grew up, until I was 19, my mom and my dad had gotten married, and they'd hardly ever dated anyone other than each other. Very little. And they were a couple. They got married. They had kids. It had always been very, very solid. And so all growing up, that's what I thought. People got married. They got married one time. Because, it used to be that, it was frowned on if someone got a divorce. It's like tainted women or something. I don't know. Thank goodness it's not like that anymore, because no one would ever get around from day to day. Yeah, so I thought, when I finally got with a guy, it'd be, fall in love and happily ever after. Well, at 19, I blew that.
I was young when I met you.
Yeah, you were 20 when you met me.
Almost 21.
Yeah. Thank goodness you turned 21 quick.
Age of consent's 18, by the way.
Okay, I don't know.
That's
It
good
would
to know.
it would have still have been strange though if you weren't 21 for
Yeah.
me. For some reason, 21. I guess it's when you drink.
Yeah. Well, if you can make a decision to go to war at 18, I think. I mean, let's be real.
You should be
It
able
doesn't
to
matter.
decide to get married at 18. Yeah, if you can give your life at
So
18 for
move
your
on to
country.
other family members. Your brother, one of your brothers, your youngest brother, was cool with it. I didn't want to say names. I don't want to say
So
names.
they're all cool with it.
Well, oh yeah, I'd say your brothers have been actually pretty supportive, but they're in a different generation. They're more your
they're
generation.
in my generation.
They're just they don't care.
Yeah.
Everybody in your family is very loving.
And they already knew anyway.
But I mean, even the marriage thing. I'm saying.
Oh, the marriage thing. Yeah.
That's
they're-
where I'm keeping it on con.
Okay, on topic.
on
On
topic.
topic. Okay, I've diverged off topic here.
So your family's been supportive, and
Yeah.
and your dad
My dad loved you.
and loved you. He didn't know everything, but it's okay. It is
Yeah.
what it is. It's
Well,
just
we don't
our
know what
story.
he knew. I never had the conversation with him. And now he's passed, and I can't have that conversation with him. But that's okay. I love my dad.
What was more valuable? Time. We had time. Who cares if you knew everything?
Yeah.
He was very supportive of both of us. When you were talking on the phone, he's like, "Where's Dylan?" It's like he had to know.
He had to know.
He had to have known.
He had to know. My family, my brothers and my mom, thought he must not know. But I don't know. I think they were wrong. I think my
So
dad
actually, that
knew.
is one thing. I don't know if we've ever said it on camera. You forget what you've already said.
Yeah.
So we'll just say it again. Your family did try to keep you from telling your father. They did keep you from telling your
Yeah.
father
They
that
said
we
they
got
didn't think
married.
they didn't think it was a good idea.
So they said, "Hey, don't tell your dad that you guys got married."
So we didn't.
But it is what it is. What are the things about marriage? We kind of said why we did it, mainly because we love each other and we're here to stick
Yeah,
around.
we did it because we had
made a
decided to
commitment.
stick together. We had already committed to be together, and so that just, made it official. We knew we would ultimately make it official once it was legal. We decided not to do like, quite a number of people did, is the day that it was legal to
No.
rush and get married. We just like, no, we're not going to do that because who knows if it will stick to begin with, and we're not going to rush on somebody else's time. Is just the way we looked at it. I totally respect other people getting married as soon as you could. I get it. But we just didn't want that to be the reason. Although ultimately it was kind of like a rush job wedding due to COVID anyway. So
It's the way I wanted to do it because it was more affordable. We didn't have the stresses of like all the wedding planning.
yeah.
It sounds
It saved
terrible.
us a lot of energy, let me tell you.
We actually had a good experience.
Yeah, it was a
so
pleasant
like
wedding.
very limited stress. It's just we kind of push back like the celebration for another day, which we haven't done.
So ultimately, we'll do that.
A wedding cake is in order. A ceremony on the beach with the technicalities out of the way.
Now, why would we go back and do that?
We just
once
walk
we
on the
had
beach.
Spared ourselves all
Yeah,
that.
You're
It's
sorry.
like, why build in a day of stress?
Maybe a dinner, a family dinner, to make my mom happy. We'll just have a dinner sometime where we have family and our family is so separate. It's not like we're gonna get them all together.
No, one whole group's in Alabama and one whole group's in Wyoming. So yeah, we couldn't even get them together here for a weekend due to all sorts of weird circumstances.
Because we got married, I think it's what influenced me getting a dog. Or is that because I dealt with the mansion or the bed and breakfast? Where did you allow me to get a dog?
I allowed it. Yeah, you've waited for 10 years at that point, wanting a dog, and I had prevented you from having that joy. And so it's like, it's time for me to give in. You've dealt with me for 10 years. Now it's my time to deal with you for 10 years. Let's get a dog. Has to meet all of these requirements, but it's going to be our dog because I'm going to love it too.
We literally had a puppy moon instead of honeymoon.
We did have a puppy moon. We did.
We had a
We
puppy
had a
moon.
total puppy moon, like 5 nights away.
Yeah, and
We
we
did,
got,
when we
got
got
to get a
5.
puppy and
Yeah.
went to a new state.
We did have a puppy moon.
We had a puppy moon.
That
We-
was more important even.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Because he brought a lot of joy. So
Still
that was
does.
it. Just finally realizing, we can make this work and have a dog just so that the dog can go with us, so that we're not held back by not going anywhere with the dog. So we have to get a dog that will travel with us. And that was part of the criteria. It's got to be small enough to fit on the plane. And if they don't let him on the plane, we don't get on the plane.
So now we should probably start wrapping it up.
We should start wrapping it up. As far as things that are important in a relationship, I know we've done this before, but maybe just, topics like how we would rate the importance of something on 1 to 10 in a relationship. So whatever.
So later on,
Just for future videos.
like sex, like how important is sex?
How important is sex?
1 through 10.
1 through 10.
How important is family connection?
1 through 10.
So like a little series.
Yeah, a little series. So just, things that you want us to go a little bit more deep into, how we'd rate them 1 to 10 and why.
Why, Russ?
And Chris,
Love you long time.
We're glad to have these new mics because we're not having to sit behind some big mic.
That didn't look right. Oh my.